Hey, good afternoon, good evening folks. My name is Brian Cunningham. Here with Bianca to do an interview and some songs, and hope you enjoy.
What we'll do, I'll just throw one more add-on. Should we come in with the song?
Sure, yeah.
At all?
This is Alice Cooper. That's not the case with drink driving. If you're going to drink, don't drive. Think ahead and choose a designated driver. Music goes on, and so should you.
A message from
So you can start
reported
anytime.
artists,
Sure.
actors and athletes against drink driving.
Promised you roses. I said, did it make you smile? I promised you roses, but they are dying. Don't lose hope if the tiny rope that's wrapped around your neck proves too tight or feels just right. Let safety hold you there. Inhale deep, release your grip, I'll lull you into sleep. Drawing breath, feeling dumb and deaf, cradled in my care. Let me hold you there. Have fun, be safe, and love me while I confiscate traces of blood, patterns of lust that paint our love. Gravity pulling gently downwards with intent, longing for the thumb and forefingers on your head. Inhale deep, bite your lip, stitched up, mutate, hushed, released, and troubled no more. Have fun, be safe, and love me while I regulate. Passively charged, ready to jump at my commands. Place your life into my hands. It's nice to stop the heart and start again. I promised you roses. I said that it'd make you smile. I promised you roses. They are dying.
Put the air on.
No, right. I'm just sweating, man.
No, I'll do that. Thank you. Thank you. Very nice, beautiful Brian Cunningham in the studio. It's very warm in here, isn't it? Yes, it's a nice hot sunny day.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And crank up the air. How are you, Brian?
I'm good, thank you. Very good. Happy to be here. nice rush hour journey down from Highbury. But yeah, apart from that, all good.
Awesome. Tell us about that song.
So this is a track that's on my album from 2 years ago, or a year and a half ago, somewhat. Yeah, like most of the tracks on the album, it's about dealing with not really loss, but with an absence, I guess. And yeah, just trying to work out my own emotions and configure my own approach to love, I guess. But yeah, it's, if anything else, it sounds kind of dark and mysterious, but it's fundamentally just another song about heartache.
Music does that, doesn't it? It's a good way
Sure it
of
does.
understanding things.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely helps you, calculate and commiserate, I guess.
Can you just hold that
Sure,
up to the
yeah.
broadcast here so they can see the album? And how can we get our hands on your album?
So, the usual stores, online, some good, some bad. I would encourage people to visit my Bandcamp, which you can actually find basically from my Facebook page, Brian Cunningham Music. There's a link there. I've just released a new single, you'll find that there as well. Yeah, but obviously Spotify, if you're on the road and you want to check it out, try before you buy.
That's right. What single is it?
So that was a track that was on this called Have Fun, Be Safe, and in brackets, and Love Me.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
That's important in the brackets.
That's it, yeah. Not too forceful, just hopeful more than anything.
That's it. When did you start music?
So, literally half a lifetime ago, I guess, started recording music. But yeah, at the age of 14, I think I got my bass guitar for Christmas, and that was the start of a love affair with the performing aspect of it. Started writing a few weeks later, and then about 6 months into that year, I swapped the bass guitar from an actual guitar, the old 6-string, and from that just started writing. Had a bunch of friends at school, and classic story, but that's how we did it.
All your friends, a couple of your friends were into it as well. Music.
Yeah, that's it. In fact, they were a few years ahead of me, so I had some catching up to do, significant catching up to do. But then my approach was always just use it as a vehicle to write songs, and if you had that in your heart or your head, then it's nice to have a tool to finally get that out there. Yeah. And had a nice bunch of boys around us that would let me order them about and boss them about in my songs.
Were there any of them sort of that you looked up to, of the people that you said they were a little bit sort of more, been doing it for longer than yourself? Any of them that you really sort of inspired you or gave you any tips or anything?
Oh yeah, I mean, on the scene we were like in Glasgow, Glasgow's renowned for certain big established bands, but I was more interested in the people that were playing in the bars and the clubs that were doing at a similar level to us, but had the crowd, they had the melody, they had the musicianship, and that was something I was aspired to at an early age. Took me a while to get there to a point where I was actually happy with it, but I think the recording side of things, that was being able to weaponise that part of the process and take control over it. Once I did that, I felt like that's when the musicianship and the songs and all that finally were doing what I wanted them to do.
So, how long were you living in Glasgow for?
So all my life, the first 34 years, moved with my good lady in June 2019, literally released this album. Did a launch night, and then a week later flew to Adelaide. And then just the sense of adventure, our original plan was, well, we wait a year and see what happens, but we managed to get work, and then obviously COVID happened, 2020 happened. And I can't think of a better place to be in general, but during COVID, South Australia seems to have it sorted.
So you've got family here?
Nope, just my
two of you?
just my girl down there, yeah.
And you met people, you got friends here?
Yep, so I literally, the minute I landed, I started on Facebook asking to people to work with, and it's taken, that's actually the first time I've played in public here since I landed, so there was a malaise kicking about, but I've set up my own studio, set up my own company, and I'm working with some local artists, but most notably a very handsome gentleman called Andy Easthope. I think he was in here a wee while ago. Him and I kindred spirits, and we've started our own record label, really to promote our own music, because we are working quite intensely with each other, you know, in terms of collaborating. So on that, I'm trying to jump in the coattails, parasitic of me, of anyone in Adelaide that's established, and by the end of this year, the idea is that, you know, I'll have people coming to see me, people will know me on the scene, and
Yeah.
you know, I'll be further up the mountain a little bit.
That's good that you did that. Like you said, when you got here, you joined sort of Facebook and groups and to collaborate. It's interesting when we move to a different location and live somewhere else, how we find a different part of ourselves, you know, that survival instinct to, okay, now I need to connect
Sure.
with humans.
You know, that's it. And it was, yeah, it kicks you out of that complacency that we all have, I guess, when you're, you know, in the city that you grew up in, that your friends are decades, you've been in each other's pockets. So it was really nice to come over here and see, could I do it? And taken a lot of inspiration from a good lady, Danielle, who came over to Australia first and travelled around, worked in different cities, and sort of just got a feel for the place. Her confidence and just her general focus on it, you know, it meant it was very easy for me to follow in that wake.
Your partner.
Yeah.
So she's very adventurous.
She is, yeah.
Takes risks.
That's it. She's a nurse, so she's used to dealing with, you know, I guess the people that are generally discarded by society, and she moves around, travels around. And I enjoyed travelling. I was a lecturer back in Glasgow, so I got really good holidays. And I would spend 6 weeks every summer, our summer, kind of June to July, travelling around and meeting new people and playing music and Southeast Asia and all that sort of stuff. So we're definitely kindred spirits. So what better way to live the adventure rather than just drop in and out of different places.
But was she born there too?
Yeah, we grew up in the same town, a little sleepy town called Kirkintilloch, a little suburb of Glasgow. Yeah, so we were, friends, but as it goes, you know people for decades, but then you don't really get to know them until just something happens.
Exactly. But what made you both make that big step? It's a big decision, isn't it?
I know it seems fatalistic, you know, mid-30s. I'm mid-30s, she's not. But like now or never, I guess. You know, we felt that I had an opportunity to take a sabbatical at work, and Danielle, his job means that she can travel and work anywhere. So I thought, we'll try it now, and you know, thank goodness we did, because if we'd waited another year, borders would have been closed, the opportunity would have gone. And you know, I'm not a religious person, and I'm not, again, one that believes in fate, but sometimes you look at it and you go, you know, there's a strange rhythm here that we seem to have tapped into, you know.
That's right.
Yeah.
A lot of people sort of talk about that in the studio here with musicians who talk about destiny and fate. You know, how sometimes, well, most of the time we can't plan things.
Mm-hmm.
We can plan so much, but then the rest is it destiny, is it what? We don't know.
That's it. And all you can do
Pose the
is,
question.
yeah, that's it. And yeah, make as many opportunities as you can, and then I guess, one of them will stick. And if you don't try, then you never know. That old cliche.
Good attitude.
Yeah.
Perfect. Not to play it safe.
No, that's it. And I certainly wasn't. New hemisphere, new side of the world. I mean, I always joke that you can't actually get further away from Glasgow before you start getting closer when you come to Australia. So, complete detachment from everything that was relatively normal. But Adelaide is so welcoming, the people are so nice that, you know, people say that about Glasgow, and to a certain degree it's true. But we've certainly found that in Adelaide, that people were super welcoming, and when I was out there, you know, asking people for opportunities, people were very willing to open up their own world and let me in a little bit.
Good to hear.
It's beautiful.
Well, what about the weather? Have you adjusted yet? I mean,
No.
it's not that extreme here. I mean, it could be worse, but our weather's sort of all over the place at the
Oh,
moment.
yeah.
But
Yeah,
how are you
I
finding
mean,
it?
well, last summer was our first summer here, so that was intense. We went away to Bali and Cambodia just when the fires hit here, so we were away from a lot of the tragedy, but we did come back and it was still 40 degrees, and I mean, this is nice for me. I'm still sweating, but
That's right, because your body would be used to the. What's the average temperature?
In Scotland, a good warm day in the summer would be about 18 degrees. Yeah.
That's warm.
That would be like, there's an analogy in Scotland, you've got taps off weather, which is tops off weather. Yeah. So that would be officially 18 degrees and above would be taps off weather.
Tops off.
Yep.
That's hilarious. That's true. I remember people saying when they were in London, you know, a few friends were visiting and it was 17 or 18 degrees and everyone was like in the park, sunbaking.
Yeah. And it's the same. We have a heat wave at anything above 20.
That's it.
But yeah, when I landed here, I grew up in a staple of neighbours and home and away, which I just thought, it's warm all the time. It doesn't rain unless it pours.
Yeah.
And I don't think I even had a pair of pants, jeans when I landed, so pretty much the first thing I did here was go and buy the trousers.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, because I didn't realise you get a winter. Sort of.
Have you got another song for us?
Sure. Let's take a wee sip of water.
We've got Brian Cunningham joining us this afternoon to talk about his music. Some live performance in the studio of Brian's original music.
Okay, this one's called Idle, and it's a new one. Hello, little bunny on the bed. Come speak to me, don't lie there pretending that you're dead. Don't you know, at the center of the world sits a city girl, horizons in her eyes, and two happy feet in the sand. It's all for you, pretty view, the good and beauty in everybody. Don't go, stay with me instead. Come listen to the dark things that hide inside my head. Don't you know, standing mast to mast, astronomic and steadfast, the ocean pools we're built to last. It's all for you, the pretty view, the good and beauty in everybody. It's all for you. Cast and crew, the good and beauty in everybody. It's all for you. The pretty view. It's all for you. The cast and crew, all the good and beauty in everybody.
So what we'll do, I'll throw this ad on, and then we'll go straight into our next song.
Yep.
Tour. What have you got coming up? Anything you want to share? Or
Just no
get
gigs
over
or
to
anything
your
booth. Yeah.
social media for updates?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, that's cool. So do the song, wrap
Well,
it up.
acoustic song?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, yeah, I've got that. Do a song. Or would you rather me play this? I'll play this.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
Cheers. Yeah.
Let's do that. How long is this song roughly?
5 minutes. Yeah.
Right, this is number 8.
Oh, yep. Just before half.
Okay, so this song, can you tell us a bit about this song? Because we're still live here.
Oh yeah. This is the first song that I actually recorded for this album. Track called One. Post-divorce, 2015. So it's in a very fragile place, and fragile place is good for making music. Yeah. So it's got a bit of everything. It's got a bit of the divorce stuff, a bit about meeting Danielle, and a bit about Scottish independence, which was Scottish independence, which was the year before we had a big referendum. I'm a yes man for the record, but we didn't get it, so pretty much the whole bridge section is about my chagrin about the whole situation. So yeah, that's what this song is all about.
And where did you record this?
So this is all done in my own studio in Glasgow, Axis Sounds, which I've moved eventually to Adelaide. It took 6 months to ship it over. A good friend of mine, Jamie, he's the drummer. He drums on all my stuff. He's got his own studio in Glasgow, JJ Recordings. And yeah, so I sent my idea with my really ham-fisted programmed drums, and then he goes away and records the tubs and sends it back to me, and I build the song on top of it.
And so where's your studio here? Is that
So I've got my production suite in the basement of my house.
nice?
So that's
Easy,
where I'm recording.
better.
Yeah.
You know, especially now with the way things are,
Yeah.
like travelling and that. Like if anything changed in the future, at least it's there.
Exactly.
You know,
That's
yeah.
it. Drums are the only thing arguably you need a studio, a big studio for. I've got a guy in Glasgow that will track my drums, track other clients of mine as well. So,
Yeah.
so it's good. It's a good relationship. But most of the drums I do, it's you can do it now on the computer.
Yeah.
It sounds pretty good.
Yeah. That
If you
must
take
be
it
a fun process too,
Yeah.
experimenting with that sort of thing.
Absolutely
Yeah,
is,
yeah.
yeah. And the good thing about it is, you can take your time, and if you're working with a client, they bring in their song, because I do a lot of production with people, and they've got their singer-songwriter idea on the acoustic guitar,
Yeah.
and I can then develop the whole song on top of it, and we don't need the big, huge overheads of a big, massive studio anymore.
Yeah.
All you need is the patience and of a good lady to help let you crank the music at crazy hours.
What's the sound like? I mean, is it sort of, you can't hear it in the other part of the house?
You can hear it directly above, which is where we've got a pool table, and the living room as well. Plus, I just got all my new guitar pedals set up, so it's getting louder and louder and louder.
It's cool though that it's in the basement.
Yeah.
It's its own little section.
That's it. Do you know, we
You're going to another world there.
yeah, and that's so important. You can regroup, you can cancel out the world and
Yeah.
just focus on where the music's done. Yeah.
Have you got it decked out like, I don't know, have you got like couches and
Yeah,
and
so-
then hang out?
Yeah,
Just
so-
for a few people to hang out?
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
vibe. Little sofa there.
Yeah.
I've got all my equipment, a couple of big speakers, and I've got all my soundproofing as well. So it's pretty cool, pretty relaxed. The idea is that it's got the right amount of outboard hardware to colour the sound, but I've also got a lot of that digital technology as
Yeah.
well, which keeps it manageable. So it's cool.
It's a big job setting it up though, isn't it?
Oh,
It's
yeah.
a lot to
That was piecemeal,
get organised.
bit by bit.
Alright, so this is the first one. So we'll jump on. We'll just quickly talk about the song
Sure,
on the
yeah.
radio, and then we'll go into another song,
Cool.
performance.
It does a fade out on the record to me.
You can back announce it when I give you a thumbs up. Like, which is just say the name of it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And then just go right into that, talking about it, when it was written. So it's 20 seconds of it left, but I can fade it down
Yep.
if you want to talk over a bit.
Hey folks, that was my track one. You're listening to Brian Cunningham. I'm here with Bianca. And yeah, just to talk a little bit about that track, I hope you enjoyed it. That was one of the first tracks that was recorded for my album that was released 2 years ago. It's got a little bit of everything in it. Post-divorce, so some of that anger, meeting a fantastic new romantic project. There's a lot of that in it as well. And it was the year after the Scottish independence vote, so the whole middle section is pretty much just my utter rage at the situation and how it ended up. So yeah, a bit of everything in there. I guess that's the thing when you're, when you're hurting, you magnetise everything. You're very hyper aware of what's happening in the world, and therefore when I was writing those songs, I couldn't just focus on one particular path. It became about everything that's happening, directly or indirectly as well. But as I always try to do, I try to keep it poppy and accessible, which I think allows it's that juxtaposition that really hits home, you know.
That's awesome, doing that too, isn't it? You know, you're talking about something important and serious, and you said there's a bit of anger there and things you want to say, but then it's that poppy thing too. I like that.
Let's dance to it while the world falls to bits around us.
That's right. That's like life, isn't it?
Oh, sure is, yeah.
It's all a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
That's it. And so have you performed that anywhere in particular?
Yeah, so that was like as we were saying, you know, a lot of the recording process is me doing everything apart from the drums. The drums are handled by a friend of mine back in Glasgow who's got his own studio. He'll track the drums and then send the stems to me, and I'll build the songs on top of it. So the process can be difficult and iterative, and then cyclical, and then you go back and do I like this bit, do I not like it? But yeah, that's the idea with that track. You know, I think it had maybe like 10 working versions that I was ready to release at some point, and I had to actually send it out for objective feedback from friends that would say, you know, you can do better. For instance, the bridge section was all just guitar solo, and friends like, well, why don't you do your oohs and ahs and your backing vocals? And then obviously I realised that was fleshed that out so well that if I moved it back to the chorus, then it had the impact. And it's that classic thing from Spinal Tap, you know, when is a song ever done?
Oh, yeah. It's so true.
And at some point you just got to put a full stop on it.
Exactly.
And move it
That's
forward.
right. Because it's not even the fact that when does it end, it could even be just, it always evolves. You could look at it the next day, the next year, it can always be different.
That's it. When you write with bands, with musicians in a room, it can be final because everyone is able to input their own ideology to it, and at the same time, you know, you get to a point where you go, right, the song is done. The song is telling us that it's done. If you're sitting in your own studio, working away at it, listening to yourself, the first point you usually get to is, I hate this song. I hate it. You know, you're like, I can't listen to it anymore. And then you have to take some time away and you go back to it, and you know, you've lost confidence and all that in it. So that's why it's really good to have a network of people that will help you and actually say, tough love, it's done.
That's good that you've got that, like those people that can give you that honest feedback, and that you trust them. You're not gonna, it's not gonna be that, oh, okay, why'd you say that? But you trust them. You want to hear what they have to say.
Exactly, that's it. And you know, I was in a band with a lot of these guys for a while, and yeah, you know, you do come to loggerheads for a lot of decisions, but it's that because you respect the integrity, you respect the process, you respect the music, and now it's good to have that fledgling community here with people I've worked with, people I want to work with, and getting that feedback still from people back home. But I am feeling a little bit liberated because I can follow my own heart, and then I'm trying to be very final with it and say, right, for the most part, that's the song done, and see how the feedback see how it comes back.
And I suppose that process will change too, wouldn't it, as we have more experiences, or even just maybe the song might call for us to sort of respond differently. It's sort of different all the time.
Yeah, that's it. You know, music is subjective, and I think people forget that your own music is subjective. Like you try to be objective with it, but it's impossible because it's your heart and soul. Like the lyrics for me are the things that for me it's easy to not cut lyrics because they have a part of the narrative, they are explaining that part of the song.
Yes,
But when you
want
take
them there.
exactly the instrumental parts, that's where I struggle.
Yeah, that's
Is-
fair enough.
Yeah, you know, does it fit the purpose of the song, or am I just noodling away for no reason?
Because there will be like umpteen amount of options. So yeah, like you said, we're just making that call. Okay, yes, I'm going to go with this. And is it a case of like instincts too, like what sort of you did first, sort of happened like that for a reason? Or do you sort of go like that as well?
Definitely. I usually end up back at an earlier revision of the mix rather than a later revision.
Right.
Because as you say, it's on, you're dealing in emotion and you're making quick decisions, and therefore I think they're sometimes, mostly for music, that's correct. Those are the correct decisions. If you've got time to sit and keep noodling away at a solo, or keep putting into your EQ and compression and just notching things out, before you know you've destroyed your song.
That's true.
As it goes.
Interesting. The whole process is so interesting.
Yeah. It'd be nice to stand back and well, I guess that's it. Working with other people, you get to be part of their process, so you don't colour it with your own prejudices or anything like that.
Have you got another song for us?
So this is quite an old song. One of the first ones I recorded when I was a student learning how to record, and it's all about the media. I guess it's relevant now, fake news, all the rest of it is kicking about. So yeah, it's about 12 years old. We'll see if I can still play it. It's called Speak Up. Your newspaper reads like an obituary. Oh, newspaper man, how you lie with your stories. And I shouldn't care, but I was present there, mumbling headlines with the crowd. Page 3 was a star on a shiny motor car. Did you know she was a mother in support of the war? And the president of 50 is a Capricorn like you, only capable of judging in a canteen made for two. Speak up, my friends. Oh. Paper has patience more than people ever show, and the forests are all gone now for a palace made of stone. And that murderer of 50 with a hostage in his hands is a metaphor for living in an advertising land. Speak up, my friends. Oh, speak up, my friends. Oh, speak up, my friends. Oh, speak up, my friends, until the end. Inhale a little less air every time you get in the car. Don't try moving outside your lines. Oh, 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 oh. Speak up, my friend. I read page to page until my interest starts to fade. There's no point in being thorough when the concept's too vague. I let slip my drip from the sickly paper stand. There's a million better stories in the pen in my hand. Speak up, my friend. Oh, speak up, my friend. Oh, speak up, my friend. Oh, sleep well, my friend, until the end.
Quick head break. Thank you. Alright. So what we can do, we can, I'll close the show with this song.
Yep.
So have you got one more? You don't have to, only if you have. If you've got one more to sing. If not, we can wrap it up there.
It's an acoustic version of this track, which I'd rather that track was played.
Number 5?
Yeah, number 5.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Yep.
So that finished now?
Yep.
Yeah, but you can do one if you want. It's
Um,
totally up to you. It's your
I had
call.
I had a single that was out on Sunday. I could probably do a little acoustic version of it and then say, but check out the Bandcamp for
Yeah.
the
Let's
track.
do that. Alright, so let's come in with that.
Okay.
Do you want me to throw another add on? Do you need a bit more? I'll just quickly put one more on. So one more ad, 30 seconds.
Sure.
Yep.
No worries.
And then we'll come in with that.
Yep.
Say goodbye, and then we'll press this.
Ooh.
And then that's the show. So that's
quick,
that's,
yeah.
we've been on for 40,
Yeah.
40, and then 40, about 43 minutes. So that's our 45. We
It just flies in. It's crazy.
does, doesn't it? Yeah, it is crazy. Alright, so you can start anytime.
See you coming down the road. Shoulders bowed, your stories told. I watched you circle round. One day you'll find another wandering star. So long ago you're gone, and you'll miss so much and break your word to me. Then make it up to me, my baby. One step at a time, my love. 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 Destroy, then break your toy. You're young, you cry when you're stung. Show all your wounds to me, then leave your shame wonderful. Can I just say that
Thank you so much, Brian. Very nice. Well, that wraps up our session. Anything you want to share with the listener before we say goodbye? Head over to your social media. Are you on the Instagram?
Yep, just Brian Cunningham Music on Facebook, and you'll find everything from there. And new single is out. That track there was just an acoustic version of it. So find it on Bandcamp, Spotify. Yeah, and get in touch. Yeah, talk to me.
Excellent. Very nice. Now, if you can just tell us a bit about this song, I'm going to press play on very, very soon.
Sure, so this is the title track from my album. It's called Parallelism. Again, it's about standing together, facing forward with the person you love, with all the good, with all the bad points. So yeah, it's rich with texture.
Nice. Very nice. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me. Yeah.
Thank you. Beautiful. Got it. Cheers.
Cool.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Can I leave that here with you?
Yes,
Yeah.
please. And I can play this at the other station as well.
Oh, perfect. What's PF? What's the other station?
PBFM?
PBFM.
Yeah, at Salisbury.
Salisbury.
Yeah. So if you want to say goodbye here before I turn it off.
Oh, yeah. Catch you.
Ciao, ciao.